Okay. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Celina Lee, and I'm the CEO of Zindi, and it's really my pleasure today to welcome you to this session of the new and improved virtual IndabaX South Africa. It's really an honor to be here and to be invited. And I have an echo. Chris and Anna, I actually think it's because of your computers. Chris and Anna, are you able to mute your audio? Strange. I think I'm having audio problems, guys. Okay, sure. Maybe it's solved now. So welcome again. Thank you so much for joining me. These are really unprecedented and crazy times. I mean, here in South Africa. Oh, I think it's myself. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, thank you and welcome. Again, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. That was my own issues. But yeah, welcome and thanks for having me. These are really crazy times, and in South Africa today, we're all getting ready for lockdown starting tomorrow. So it really feels like we're stepping into unprecedented, uncharted territory, and none of us are really sure about how this is all going to end up impacting us and our communities and our families. And so for that, I'm really grateful that you guys are here. And actually, I want to congratulate you all for joining. And I think that, what's important during these times is that as we find ways to continue on with our lives, continue on with the work that we're doing, it's really about highlighting the dedication and the commitment of the community to continue to grow, continue to create new knowledge and new solutions that will impact this world. And so for that, I think that, we should be really proud to continue on with IndabaX South Africa in this way. And also, this is the message that we want to continue to put out there, and it's the message that the world really needs right now. And that's a big part of what we're trying to do at Zindi by continuing to support the community to solve some of the world's most pressing problems through AI and machine learning. I'm going to give a quick introduction to Zindi and introduce you to some of the problems that we're tackling on the platform. So just to start off, I mean, one of a recent survey of business leaders in the United States found that 72% of business leaders term AI as a business advantage. And 63% believe that AI will help solve problems that plague modern society, from food security to climate change. But what does that actually mean? And especially in the African context, how do we make that a reality? How do we take something like that forward? At the same time, some of you are familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals, but it's been calculated that these are the number of jobs that the world has to create in order to meet the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. That's 470 million new jobs have to be created. So there's a real sense of urgency. There's so much time, so much to do, so very little time. And so we started Zindi about 1.5 years ago. And to give you an introduction to Zindi, Zindi's a social enterprise because at the heart of it, what our mission is to develop the data science ecosystem in Africa. We're really driven by the belief that AI should serve and should be for everybody, from businesses and organizations that are trying to optimize their operations or increase their outreach to new clients, to young data scientists that are interested in AI and maybe don't have all of the opportunities that they need to upskill and to find employment opportunities. So Zindi's a data science competition platform uniquely focused on the African market. We've reached 12,000 registered users this last weekend. We're getting about 300 or a few hundred new registrations every week. That number is rapidly changing. And we serve both data scientists and organizations in Africa. Organizations, be them government organizations, nonprofit organizations, corporate clients, corporate companies, startups, they come to Zindi to tap into, to access the best data science solutions for their organizations and to tap into the growing talent pool that is in Africa. And for a data scientist in Africa, they come to Zindi to continue to upskill, build their skills on real life problems, real life data sets, to make connections with their peers and also to build their professional profile and eventually to make connections with these organizations that are looking for people like them. So in the last year, and some of these statistics can actually be updated, but in the first year of Zindi, we reached a lot of really important milestones, including the number of users. As I said, we've reached over 12,000 users now. About 30% of our users are female. We are present, or at least we've had unique visitors from almost every country in the world. And you can see on the map, especially in Africa, we're really reaching out to every country in Africa. And we've been able to mobilize through our competitions about $80,000 that went directly to data scientists in our community. But even aside from these exciting milestones, I think that the underlying importance of what we're doing with promoting the use of AI in Africa is twofold. The benefits are twofold, and it's important to remember that on the one hand, data science is a powerful tool for companies and organizations in Africa to be able to scale, to compete globally, which will of course lead to long-term and sustainable economic outcomes. But on the other hand, what's important to also remember is that AI represents a new and globally competitive field, that when we're creating new skills and pools of talent in Africa in AI, it's really about not just creating a job for today or tomorrow, but it's about creating real high value, globally competitive career opportunities for years to come. And that's really what we're trying to achieve at Zindi. So I wanted to highlight a few examples of some of the competitions that we've run on Zindi. The first example that I have is a competition that we ran for Childline Kenya, which is the National Child Protection Hotline in Kenya. It's estimated that about 150,000 children in Kenya experience some type of sexual or physical abuse every single year. And our partner Childline Kenya fields hundreds of thousands of calls every year, and they're essentially a nonprofit but working for the Kenyan government. And when we first spoke with them about the challenges that they're having and the issues that they face, they said that at the end of the day, they are under-resourced. The demand for their services cannot be met with the resources that they have, and they have a relatively small staff of people that are answering calls 24 hours a day. And so what we wanted to do was help them anticipate by the hour, by the day, what the call volumes would be, so that they could, so that they would be able to staff their call centers more efficiently. So we ran a competition for them. We got thousands of submissions, hundreds of data scientists working on their problem. And at the end of the day, what was exciting is that the winner of this challenge was actually a fourth-year student, computer science student in Kenya. And he not only won, but what was great is that we were able to connect him with Childline Kenya. They've had conversations, and hopefully he'll be able to help them take forward some of the solutions that they, that he's been developing. Now, another challenge that we ran, or that we're planning on running sometime this year, is with Local Ocean Conservation, which is also a nonprofit organization in Kenya that works along the Kenyan coast, and they do a bycatch program, which is where almost every species of sea turtles is endangered at this point, and one of their greatest risks is getting caught in fishing lines. So what Local Ocean does is they rescue the sea turtles, get turned into them. They rescue them from the fishing lines. They nurse them to health and release them again. And they've been doing this for 20 years. They've rescued over 10,000 sea turtles over the last year. And what they do is when they rescue a turtle, they actually take a close-up picture of the sea turtle's face. So you can see in this picture an example of what a sea turtle would look like. So one of the things that they do is before they release the sea turtles, they usually tag them, and this is a common practice. But one of the challenges with tagging is that these sea turtles are already compromised in terms of their health, and puncturing their fins with the tag is also a threat to their health, and it's also expensive for the nonprofit organizations, and it's also not a permanent solution because often the tags get lost. So what Local Ocean Conservation is interested in is developing a AI solution to recognize the sea turtles' faces. They have their database of images is unprecedented. It's never been released to the public, and we believe that there is no other existing database of this quality out there. So once we're able to launch this competition with them later this year, we'll also be able to make these data sets public for the first time, which is very exciting. And as you can tell, this will change the face of conservation, of sea turtle conservation, not just in Kenya, but worldwide. And a final example of a competition that we ran hits very close to home, especially for those of you in Cape Town. We recently closed a competition in partnership with Uber and Sanral, and this one was to predict roadside accidents along the major highways in Cape Town, so along the N1 and N2 and some of the connecting highways. So when we spoke with Sanral, what they explained is actually they keep very good data of every incident that happens. And that includes, they're really monitoring the time between the incident happening to when it gets reported, to when the first responders arrive at the scene, until when, everything is resolved and cleared. So they're really capturing all of these data points. And what they said is that really that window between the time the accident happens to the time that the first responders arrive on the scene is the critical window, and that's the window where every second really could mean the difference between life and death. And closing that window is what Sanral is most concerned about or most interested in. So we launched the competition a few months ago to develop a machine learning solution to anticipate where on the highways the accidents will happen, and this is in any given hour. Within a 500-meter segment of the N1 and the N2. So this competition just recently closed, and this recently closed, and it was also really exciting because the winner of this challenge is actually a researcher at Stellenbosch University. So it was wonderful because we've now just started to be able to make the connection between introducing Sanral to the winner, and hopefully they'll be able to take some of these conversations forward. But Sanral is definitely very interested in implementing this solution so that they would be able to know when and where they should be placing their first responders. So I think, you know, these stories are very exciting to us and to our communities and to our other stakeholders. And I think that the best part of these stories is really that these are solutions that are being developed by African data scientists right here on the continent. And one thing that I've been thinking about a lot, you know, in light of the current situation, is that after the coronavirus is under control, and after we're kind of out of this period, I'm really curious to see how our framework for understanding education, understanding learning, thinking about the future of work will change. You know, by using online platforms, well, like Zindi or like YouTube or like any of these, you know, Slack and the other tools that are enabling us at this point from home to continue to be productive, you know, these may become the new normal. And these are especially important and critical at this moment in time when everybody is far away from each other, as far away from each other as we possibly can. How can these platforms help bring people back together and help focus our efforts and focus our talents really towards continuing to be productive and continuing to create new knowledge and new solutions that can continue to improve our societies and our practices. So I think this is something that I'm really excited about for Zindi over the next few months and even, you know, further. And one of the things that I did want to finally plant before I sign off is that in the spirit of this, that we're all far away and how can we come together and solve important problems. We are getting ready to launch a series of Zindi weekends, which are going to be just quick hackathons. So any of you who are familiar with Zindi and have competed on Zindi, you know that a lot of our competitions go for quite a long time, so for a few months at a time. And what we wanted to do was try a model where we can do quick weekend hackathons, just like quick sprints, to get solutions out quickly to our, you know, to the people that need them. And we're going to launch a series of 6 weekend hackathons called Zindi Weekends, focusing on solving problems related to COVID-19. So I want to welcome all of you to look out for that, not this weekend, but next weekend. And in general, welcome all of you to the Zindi platform if you haven't joined it yet. And for those of you who are on it, thank you for your support and your contributions. And for those of you starting, I really hope that it's just the beginning of a really exciting journey. So thank you very much. I'm going to, because I have a couple of minutes, I'm going to check to see if there's any questions on YouTube. For those of you starting, I really hope that it's just the beginning of. Okay, I'm going to sign off, but all of you are welcome to join Zindi, and please. Please reach out if you have any questions, any ideas for competitions, any data sets, and if you have any questions on how to get involved in general. You're very welcome. Thank you.